Welcome back to the 71 Ford F100 project. Um, I recently ordered a whole bunch of parts for the project. I had ordered a whole bunch of parts for all of my trucks back in 2020 when the pandemic first started, and um, my job is in purchasing, and so the company I'm currently with still, we were experiencing a lot of shortages, a lot of everything right at the beginning of the pandemic, and it was scattered across a lot of different things. So I kind of made the connection, like, oh crud, these parts may not be available, or we'd have problems, or the current inflation. So I went ahead and grabbed anything and everything I could think of at the time that I knew I needed, um, and for all four of my trucks that I have planned. I've already finished one with 69. Um, so grabbed as many parts as I could. Anything I could think of, kind of did an inventory of just, just things that might possibly be short. Metal, floor pans, just anything. So today is kind of I was getting everything out, kind of going through everything that I have, kind of taking an inventory of everything, and thought I'd make a video so you guys could see what I have planned for the truck. There's a whole range of things here, and just trying to, like I said, take inventory of it all, make a plan, and see if there's what's missing and what I might still need to order for this truck. Um, and then just go from there. So I'll try to get this camera set up where it can not be bumped and kind of view everything. And we can get going. So um, right here, got to start off with the interior right off the bat. Brand new. I'm not going to pull it out of here because the popcorn peanuts, but you can see a brand new dash bezel. So that'll be nice to look at. Something I think is really important for these trucks because they had such a good looking dash that you need to have, you need to replace that. They're not horribly expensive. They've gone up like everything, but not horribly expensive still. So for what it is, you're looking at that every single time you drive the vehicle. So to me, that's just super important to have, as far as a visual thing. Other thing is these trucks are, they're 50 plus years old. So pretty much all of the weather stripping is rotted out of these things. So brand new weather stripping kit. This is the windshield. These are the door seals for the windows. It has the wing window rebuild kit, the felt tracks for the windows to roll up and down. Back window. More of the window track go around the door. And then last but not least, the door seals. So complete kit, not sponsored by anything, but that's who I bought it from, if you care. Has the complete kit all in one box. Order it, get it all at once, so they have to piecemeal it all together. Bunch of the small stuff. So I want even simple things like ground straps. They get so corroded, they just disintegrate that, I just grabbed a couple different lengths of ground straps, so have those when it comes time to needing those. Fuel tank grommets, I guess you'd call them, filler neck grommets. So one for the the cab, one for the bed. Plan on running both tanks, so that rubber is completely disintegrating. And these are all of the leaf spring, brand new bushings for the leaf spring. So fix all that. The truck rides really nice. That's the one thing that's cool about this truck was it's probably the best riding truck I've had. It just rode so smooth down the road that I almost don't want to mess with the suspension, but I know all that stuff just needs to be replaced. I've already checked it. It's the rubber's rotted, it's dried out. But for whatever reason, it's still riding good. So, and speaking of that, here is the front suspension bushing kits, radius arms, rebuild kit. So all new rubber there. No reason to skimp on it. If you're going to do the back, do the front. This should be the in-cab gas tank sending unit. Yeah. So in-cab gas tank sending unit, brand new one. I don't remember if that fuel gauge works or not on that truck. It's been so long since I drove it. The motor gave out a number of years back, and it got kind of put on the back burner and never revisited. So just, they're not that expensive. And these things I found online, and if you work on these trucks at all, you know what I'm talking about. If these things are worn out, you hit your head 10 times more once you already hit your head when you're working on them. The hood hinge or the hood latch comes right down above your head when you're leaning over under the hood, and every time you back up, every time you move, it catches you right in the back of the head. It does not feel good. So one of the things to help out, I could not find just the new springs. So I don't remember exactly what I paid for these things, but totally worth it in my book when you're working on these trucks all the time. And these things are over your head. You know, hold the hood up, keep it off your head. If I can gain another inch or two because the springs are brand new, then it's totally worth it to the back of my head. So currently I do not have a 71 steering wheel. They are pretty hard to find in good condition. I have seen occasionally new steering wheels come up and stuff like that. So at the current moment, I plan on running a 69 or 68 through or 67 through 69 steering wheel on it because I have one, and this is the new horn ring for it. I also have just the center button that's in really good condition. It's an original. I think I actually have two of those. So I'm debating about whether the horn ring. I really like the horn ring better, but you know, I have the button. So if you want to chime in on that, feel free. You know, if I could find an original 71 or 71 steering wheel, I might use it. It depends on the price too, because the budget's been kind of blowing up on this thing a little bit. But oh, this is also another thing. This goes with the dash bezel. New lens for your speedometer. Totally worth it. They are typically yellowed and dingy and dirty, and they don't clean up. So for the price of what that is, you can see through it. You can see your dash. You can see your speedometer if you care to see it. But you can see everything now with a clear lens. Staying on the interior again. So little things like this, brand new chrome door locks. little loops that go around the door locks, and then a brand new dome light cover. All those little details when if you're going to keep the vehicle and drive it, those are all little details that can kind of drive you nuts that aren't fixed, aren't done. And then when you go to sell it, those are all the little details that people notice, and then they go, wow, that's done, that's done, that's done. Wow, even got new door locks. Wow, that's crazy. So, at least I notice that stuff. So I like to go all out when you're going to do the interior and that type of stuff. So staying on the interior again, brand new armrest. So got the pair. Brand new armrest. This is these are pretty cool because they have the Bluetooth option. They have all the modern technology in them, but they still fit the dash. So if you like listening to the radio and you want to have tunes and stuff, then I feel like this is the way to go. And I like buying from this company because the radio, I don't know if the camera's going to even pick it up, but the radio even says Ford right on it. So to me, yeah, they're kind of expensive, but radios have always been expensive. Aftermarket radios have always been expensive. So the fact that they look somewhat stock and they fit the dash and you're not cutting a hole, and then you still have all the Bluetooth options and everything with it, I feel like it's totally worth it. New radiator upper and lowers, hoses. Any of the rubber products, basically, I try to replace. It just doesn't last, 50 years. This is a brand new fuel line going from the fuel pump up to the carburetor. Speaking of carburetor, here is a new carb plate spacer. Brand new Edelbrock 1406 600 carburetor. Brand new. Let's see, what else? Oh, door seals. These kind of get overlooked. They're down right in the doorway or door jamb. A lot of times that they're just soft aluminum, so they just get scratched up, they get beat up. These things, man, it's amazing what they can look like when they're brand new, nice and shiny, and really sets off when you open the first thing you see when you open the door, besides brand new seat covers or stuff like that, which I do have a seat cover on order. I found out it takes an additional 3 months to get those, so that is on its way. Oh, gas caps, just for the outside of the vehicle. I mean, I don't know how many times I buy a truck and the gas caps are mismatched, and one's locking, one's not, one's original, one's not, whatever. But these are at least in the original style and stuff, and they're new, so it comes with obviously said brand new rubber because of being new. So I bought 2 of them. I have an original one that's painted on the truck. I bought 2 of them because I've run into where certain gas caps don't work on them, and one was vented, one wasn't. So I just grabbed both. If I don't use it on one of my truck or this truck, I'll use it on the next truck. Speaking of gas, brand new filler line for this side of the bed, vented line and fuel line. filler line. It even comes with a little metal plate that squishes it to go over the top of the frame rail, which I didn't even realize that it came with. So when I got it, I was like, oh wow, that's cool, you know, because that's probably not there or rotted or, you know, just not in good condition. Speaking of gas tank, brand new saddle tank. So last time I drove that truck, I don't remember. I believe I was using both tanks. I know I was using the in-cab tank, but I don't remember if I was using the saddle tank or not. They're always corroded. They're always just full of junk. It's 50 years old, 50 plus. So, you know, just I put a new one on my 69 F100, the truck I just finished, and it was the best thing I ever did. We didn't replace all the fuel lines, but we took the tank out, put the new tank in, blew out all the lines, replaced all the rubber lines anywhere, and I had taken out the in-cab tank, so I wasn't running the in-cab tank in that truck. So it was really important that, you know, I had a good tank in there. So brand new tank. You know, you can try to clean them out, you can try to do whatever and stuff, but I'm not messing around with it. Earlier video, I said I'm going to need one of these because it was all locked up. So new heater control valve that goes in the heat line going in the engine bay. The one on the truck was completely froze up, completely corroded. Now the inner fender still sitting over there still has this one on there. It looks like it's in decent shape, but you know, they get pretty weathered and pretty heat beat, and you know, they start to crack. And you know, what looks good, you put fluid in, all of a sudden it's, you know, a puddle on the ground. So I just went ahead and grabbed one of these. The engine bay is going to be all detailed and look nice, so no reason to not have a new one of those looking good. And then I believe, yeah, this should be the pump for it. I got to double check because I did get a 67 pump, and I also got a 70, you know, the later model pumps. And this one I think is for the 67. So I got to double check that. I don't know. I know the 67 had a lot of 1 year only parts and stuff on them, and the pump was different on those. I just don't remember visually if mine was even there, and if I need to, you know, get a new one. So, oh, and then this would be the just blanked out what it is. It is the sending unit, fuel sending unit for the saddle tank back there. New sending unit. Dimmer switch, brights. These things cause more issues with the trucks and with the older style cars. When these things go out, your headlights can flash, they can blink, they can go off, not work at all, whatever. So this completes the circuit. So on a lot of the older vehicles, and I'm not speaking for all of them because, you know, they are different for some, but I know that my truck lights, and then also on my old Plymouth, if this was bad, they wouldn't work. So it's just a simple fix, simple item to replace. Make sure your headlights don't start flashing as you're going down the road. Oh, and then the other thing is that when you are you get one of these trucks, it seems like somebody's changed the door at one point, or they've changed the ignition at some point, or they've changed both, and then the keys don't fit in the door. They don't, you know, you don't have the key for the lock, you don't have the key for the ignition, or they're just different keys, but they look exactly the same. So brand new ignition and door locks with matching keys. Nice little kit there. Replace everything. You got brand new ignition, brand new locks, and everything matches. Brake lines, more rubber products. So front, rear. Brakes were just redone on that truck and were in really good condition, but the rubber lines, I'd noticed that those need to be redone. More rubber products, the little heater vent boot that goes from the sidewall panel that brings the air in from outside through the front cowl. Every time I take the heater core, replace the heater core in the trucks, this thing is almost always deteriorated, and you need to replace them. You can try to, duct tape them up and do all that craziness and stuff, but it's only a temporary fix. Oh, so obviously a new thermostat housing, new thermostat. So just picked up a new one, new thermostat, start off fresh. Speaking of that, starting off fresh, there is a completely rebuilt 390 sitting right there on the floor beside the camera. And so having, as many new parts on the outside of it as possible goes along with it. I'll show you that here in just a second. So got this from an engine builder out of Idaho. His brother is a local guy, and then both of them big Ford nuts. And the engine builder is just an engine nut. He just loves working on engines, loves building them stuff. So completely rebuilt, all brand new internals. Everything's good to go. I got all the receipts for it, that everything put into it. So I got to sit down and go through that. I'm not completely up to speed on everything that was done, put into it, but I know it was all machined, all brand new parts, and hardened seats. It's just a standard rebuild. It's not a high performance, build or whatever, something like that. I just wanted a straight build, good running, solid, good 390 motor, cast iron 4-barrel intake on it. Didn't go with all the aftermarket stuff. This truck, although not going to be stock, it's still going to have the appearance of being, pretty stock still, so that's just kind of in tune with that. It's a 4-speed manual, 4-speed truck. So it's just gonna stay, stock engine rebuild. Also got let's see here. Oh, and to match the new engine, brand new engine mounts. Both engine mounts. So, not to be a broken record, but it's more soft parts, more stuff to that wears out and gets old, gets brittle, and breaks down over time. So putting a brand new motor in, or not a brand new motor, but a rebuilt motor in there, why not? Why have it bouncing around and vibrating around because you got bad engine mounts? That doesn't make any sense to me. Voltage regulator. New voltage regulator. So that'll, I know you can get bad new parts, and I've heard, seen people complain about that and stuff like everything. So, just because it's brand new doesn't mean it's all problems are gone. But, hopefully you can eliminate some of these by buying decent quality parts. Stuff. Solenoid. So new solenoid. Oh, just a heater core, not a heater core, but a little fitting for the heater line. I don't know how long they've been making these again, but I had not seen these in forever, and I was really excited to see that these have, they started making these again. So windshield wiper blades with the stainless steel, arms, and or I didn't get the arms because I have the arms, but the blade holder and the blades themselves and stuff, super cheap. I couldn't believe the price on these things. You go spend $20, for the modern wiper blades, and now they're remaking the old style, which looks so much better on these the old vehicles and stuff. I hate the black plastic modern blades on the older cars and stuff. So super stoked to find these. I think I bought 4 sets just because I was like, man, I don't want to miss out on for my other trucks. But I think I've seen them as cheap as $7 for the per blade. I mean, you keep, like I said, buy new ones. Something really silly, simple, but really annoying when it's missing is your accelerator pedal spring. So that goes in behind the accelerator, and it keeps the pedal up. Otherwise, it just flops around. So little tiny piece of wire spring that can be really annoying when it's missing. Oh, and then horn contact buttons. So your horn works. On this truck, started off the project, first video showing how the truck got hit. It was parked on the side of the road. We had snow, and somebody came around the corner, slid off the road, slid onto my property, and hit the truck. Of course, drove away, and smashed a really nice grill, headlight bezel, and broke the plastic insert. It was a 70 insert, but still, it was a really nice plastic insert. So I have another grill that I've pretty much removed all the anodizing off of it, and I'm hand polishing it, cleaning it all up, getting it all beautiful for the truck. And I bought the hardware rebuild kit for it because just like the rubber pieces, all these little plastic pieces start getting brittle, breaking, and then you go to mount your headlight bezel, your grill plastic pieces, all that kind of stuff, and it doesn't want to. They vibrate. They chatter because something's missing. So to me, totally worth it. Get you a brand new kit, rebuild your grill, and then when your big V8's rumbling, it's not your grill's not sitting there chattering, making a bunch of noise. Now these I don't know if I'm going to use on this truck or not. These are the original style mirrors, and I've heard people get into arguments about this and stuff. And I don't. This one's open. I don't get into those arguments with people because it's been proven that a lot of these trucks came with this style mirror or no mirror at all, and then the dealers put on mirrors and stuff. And this truck actually has the holes on the door for this mirror. And then it has 50 more holes for all the other mirrors that people put on throughout the years and stuff. To me, this people are like, oh, these are too small, whatever. I've ran them on 2 of my trucks. It's no different than driving a car. I've driven truck professionally. I was a truck driver for a number of years, and I've driven all kinds of different vehicles. I grew up driving all different types of vehicles. A mirror's a mirror to me. If there's a mirror on the vehicle, I can use it. So, I mean, yes, if you're going to be towing with the vehicle or it's a big rig and you got to see, well, you'd be towing with the vehicle then, you got to see more stuff, then the bigger mirrors make sense. But on a little F100 pickup, those mirrors were what came on a lot of them and are, still technically stock for the trucks. If you want to get on the comments and argue with me about it, or say a bunch of stuff about it, that's fine. I'm not going to argue with you about it. That's why I changed what I was saying there. It's just not worth it to me. I don't care enough, and I think they look just fine, and I think that they work just fine. So, anyways, I believe this to be a new heater core. Yep, this is a brand new heater core. I'm going to be tearing all the interior out. Going to have the heater out of it. Why not put a brand new heater core in? Just eliminate something that you got to pull back out because it's not working or it's leaking. I don't know when the last time the heater core was replaced, if ever. So, brand new heater core. Speaking of the grill, because my grill got smashed and the headlight bezels got smashed, I lucked out and found a brand new set of headlight bezels. So these things seem to be sometimes really hard to find, and other times they're back in stock. So as soon as I saw that these were available, I jumped on them, bought them. So at the time that I'm shooting this video, they might be completely available and not a big deal, but I have seen them be sold out and then back in stock and then sold out and back in stock. And it seems like whenever I want something, need something, it seems like that's the one item that's back ordered and sold out. I know this earlier model headlight bezels, I want to say I think it's the driver's side, has been sold out, back ordered forever. So if you needed a new earlier 67 through 69 headlight bezel, a pair or just the one, you can't even get it. You got to go the used route. These right here, I will plug the person or the place building these because these things have been not available until probably the last couple of years, and that's Carolina Classics. Now I'm going to say that I might not be even saying it right, but let me make sure I'm saying it right. Yeah, Carolina Classics, and these are not cheap. I want to say these were all told $200 for the pair. I only need one for this truck, but they only sell them in pairs. So you get your driver's and passenger side and stuff. But if you don't have them and yours are rotted out, you're left either just cutting them off, welding it off, leaving them rusty, building your own like I did for my 69. So I bought, at the time when I was doing the 69, I didn't know that these guys existed, or I don't know if they were, available from them yet. But I bought just an extra set of outer panels, and I'll try to find a picture of that and post it up. But I found so I needed the inners and the outers for both sides of that 67 cab. So I just bought two pairs, and I put the ones on the outside, and then I flipped. So I took the driver's side one and flipped it around and put it on the passenger side, and then obviously the passenger side on the driver's side. Cut out only the little section I needed that looked like that, and then I hammered and dollied all those lines you saw in that into it. That took a while, and that took some patience to do because it's a spot that's under the truck. You're never going to see it unless you're climbing around underneath of it. But I wanted the truck to appear as back to factory or original as possible. So I went ahead and sat there and hammered and dollied it till it looked close to being right. So these boxes here are front suspension, or I'm blanking out, tie rod ends. Couldn't think of what they're called. Tie rod ends for the 67 through 72, or it's actually just what I found out was that 71, I think it was everything up to two-wheel drive up to 71. It was this style And then right at the cutoff of when my truck was produced, anything past that was then 71, like July of 71. I'm going to be wrong on this, but July of 71 to 72 was a different style. And so, and of course, usually my luck is that the more expensive one is the one I have, but I lucked out on this one, and this ended up being the cheaper version of it. So I got the adjuster piece for it, got the inner tie rod for it, outer tie rod, and then the main link right there. So all brand new, and like I said, just going that extra mile to make sure that this thing is driving and handling as good as possible. Because I think it just, these trucks deserve to be back on the road, staying on the road as long as possible. New fuel filter, nothing exciting there, but all new fuel tank, new fuel lines, new sending unit. Why not have that? I even bought brand new bed mount bolts. Now the chances are that I could probably get the bed bolts off of this truck and reuse them, but I just bought it as a backup because I was already buying the new cab mount and radiator core support mounts. And do I have to change them? No, I don't have to change them, but it'll make the truck feel so much better if all that, like I said, all the rubber stuff is just replaced and new again, and all new hardware underneath the truck. I think there's value in some of that, and everybody else will argue about, oh, but you should have done this brakes and you should have done power steering and all this other stuff. But for me, this truck is like I said, it's not staying original, but it's I'm kind of trying to be respectful of what the truck was. It's all original paint. Yes, it's a patina truck. It's patina paint, but the engine I found out that was in it was a replacement engine already, so it didn't have the original engine in it. So going from the 360 that was in it to the 390 now, just to me, that's just an upgrade in power, and 4-barrel on it versus the 2-barrel. That's just a small upgrade. It's going to look completely correct because we all know 360, 390. You can't tell the difference by looking at them. You got to measure the strokes. You got to prove everything. And when you go to sell a vehicle, every 360 becomes a 390. So I have paperwork. I have documentation that this is a 390. So that's not going to be up for debate. If the person wants to pull a spark plug and measure the stroke, we can do that before they buy it. I don't have any problem with that. Fully confident in that. But since the engine is out, the engine builder's brother helped me out because I bought a brand new clutch boot. So that's brand new rubber again, brand new clutch spring, return spring. The little felt seals on the ends of the clutch pedal, the swivel bracket. I think I got it over here. So yeah, this is all loaded with grease inside the clutch. So if I'm doing this right, I don't know if off the top of my head right now, I can't think of what this way this goes. But anyways, you push the pedal, it pulls the clutch, return spring pulls this back into place, and this is all packed with grease inside there. And these little felt pieces were completely disintegrated that help plug off the ends. So just pick those up. Like I said, something simple but needed. And then this was the rubber boot that this goes through and seals off from inside, on the side of the transmission or the bell housing. So, and this was just was messing around getting the laser cleaner fired back up again. I will be, anybody interested in the laser cleaner that I bought, I will be cleaning more parts and doing more stuff here soon. We got super humid here, and there was I think it was like almost 90% humidity, and the I didn't have the moisture remover on my airlines yet. I don't even know if I had it. I had it on order for a while. I had used the laser without it. I just had a cheaper version, and when we did the test videos and showed when we first got it, that was just a cheaper little moisture remover. But we noticed that the laser stopped cleaning right through the center of the beam and was only cleaning on the outside 1/4 inches. So I knew something was going on with it. And then I was reading that the humidity can definitely affect it, because you got airlines, blowing, trying to keep the dust away from the lens and all that kind of stuff. So just the other night, I took the lens out, pulled it out, and it was dirty. It had a burn right in the center of the lens and stuff. So that's, tested it out, and you can see on the lip here, that's what it all looked like. The whole thing was just coated with grease and grime, and now it almost looks brand new again down the center. So just did a couple quick passes over it, and it was like, wow, that really turned out great. So as I was starting to say, engine builder's brother, I was asking about a clutch for this truck, and he goes, oh, because I have a brand new clutch still sitting in the box. That's why the box looks kind of beat up. He goes, it's been sitting in my shop. And he goes, I don't have a truck that's a manual. He goes, but I got a brand new clutch kit for it. So, and then, so I'm like, oh, okay, how much? He gives, we make a deal. And then he goes, oh, do you need a flywheel for that too? He goes, I just found the flywheel. So here is brand new clutch pack, clutch kit, all the stuff to install it. It's just been sitting on his shelf, brand new. And he goes, yeah. He goes, both my trucks are automatic. And he goes, I don't plan on buying a stick. So there you go. So that worked out great. And then, like I said, a week later, showed up with a brand new flywheel for it. So that was cool. It's the time to do it right now. Engine's out, transmission's right there available. I'm going to drop the transmission out of it, clean it up, and just make sure everything's, that the truck was shifting great. I hated the fact that the engine blew on that truck, because everything was running smooth. Everything was driving smooth. The truck rode beautifully. The clutch engaged beautifully, shifted nice. There was no issues with that whatsoever. And then the engine went out. So it's like, and then it was just bad timing for the sake of when it happened, because life just got in the way and I couldn't get back to it. But the other thing here is brand new passenger side inner fender. Of course, right underneath here on the stock one that came out of the truck is completely rotted out from the battery. It's unfortunate. For whatever reason, they just couldn't seem to use a decent thickness of metal there, because the battery tray itself looks pretty good, but the inner fender underneath it is shot, completely gone. So what do you do? It's just the way it is. And then also over here is a brand new headliner, so that'll be nice. And I even picked up a brand new firewall, insulation panel, cover, everything. Every single one of my trucks, doesn't matter. They're almost, if you just look at them wrong, it seems like that thing falls apart. So, try to take out the heater core and that panel's falling apart behind it. So one more brand new thing Forgot to put this over here, but brand new carpet kit. So I know a lot of these trucks came with the rubber mat. They didn't necessarily come with carpet, but I've not been impressed with the rubber mat quality. I've seen a number of them installed, and they look really wrinkly. They don't seem to lay down flat. And this one came with a really nice, tight um, knit on the carpet, so it kind of lays flat, looks smooth, and doesn't, kind of still resembles the texture that's on the rubber mats on the floor. So, had to compromise on that a little bit. Like I said, seat cover, brand new seat covers coming. Not sure when that'll be here, but supposed to be 3 months. Some of the used parts that I'm going to be using, I found a buddy of mine had a set of hubcaps, and I'm not sure the exact year of these, but I've seen them on other vehicles or other trucks, and they're not in perfect condition, but they're pretty good. I mean, they're stainless steel. They can be polished up, and they're a little wavy, but I plan on running the stock Steelies on it. So this will be the nice little finishing touch for the Steely wheels, and I still need to clean those up and polish them up. Also, I don't have a 71 grill insert. I never did have a 71 grill. The truck came with it, but it was shattered. So I have 70 inserts and I have 72 inserts. 72 are closer to what the 71s were, but I honestly like the 70 inserts better. There's just something about it. I just feel like it's more complete, where this feels like something's still missing on the 72s. I don't know why, but my first truck was a 72. It had these inserts in it, and I just always liked this look better, or the early grill, all aluminum grills, all metal grills. So I think because this to me just fills up the space better. I think that's why I like those. So I don't know which set I'm going to run. I haven't been able to find 71, so I got to run what I have. And make do with it. But I may throw on the 70s and give the new owner the option of swapping them out to the 71s if they really want the 71s. But I have multiples of these, so I'm not really that concerned. And I don't think I have any more 70 through 72 trucks to do. So, I'll probably just end up selling the spares when everything's done. But yeah, so rebuild engine, all going to be all rebuilt suspension parts on it. The coil springs, I haven't been able to find the right ones for the truck. As I said, the truck rode really great and really smooth. It just was a super comfortable ride. So I may end up putting the coil springs back in if I can't find the right set for it. But I'm sure they're out there. I just haven't spent a ton of time diving down that rabbit hole to find them. But like I said, the truck rode great. So I'm not super concerned about using the old leaf springs and using just rebuilding the bushings in them, and then reusing the coil springs, because that was something that was very, very nice about the truck. So but yeah, I've got I got the brand new table for the shop workbench built. I've got the laser back up and running again. The weather's starting to be more consistent here, so hopefully here can get right back onto this 71 project and start knocking out some more stuff. I got a buddy coming down from Spokane who's bringing parts down. We're going to do some trading, swapping on some parts. So gonna have the stock fan for this thing. I know I got pulleys, all the stock pulleys, alternator brackets, all those brackets and stuff. So this is gonna. Oh, he was the one that I got an air cleaner for this original style air cleaner. So, everything's going to look really, really cool on this truck for the sake of, looking fairly correct and stock. Paint color wise and stuff like that, I'm still debating. I did some things on my 69 with the paint and stuff that was really unique, and I really liked the way it turned out. It's not original, but it looked really cool. So I'm still debating on that one. Got to figure out. I got to get some paint made up and matching and stuff for some of the rust repair areas. I have floor pans for this truck as well. I don't know to the extent of how much of the floor pan I have to replace. Um, I try to be as least invasive in the truck as possible. Um, when you're doing the floor pans, I've seen guys, have a rusty spot over here and then just cut the whole floor out, and there's no need to. I've done probably, oh gosh, I've probably done about 15 different trucks, the floor pans in the trucks. Every single one of them's different, and sometimes you end up having to do the cab supports and stuff too. You get in there and don't realize they look solid, they look good, and then you pull those floor pans out, and it's like, oh, that's bad. So hopefully I don't have to. Knock on wood, don't have to do the cab mounts. They look solid. Everything looks good about them. The floor pans from underneath are only rotted along the edges by the doors, and that further side of the footwell. But I knew I have some sheet metal stuff to do on that truck, so I have the floor pans. Those were in storage. Those are really tucked away, so I didn't even bother getting them out. But so as far as just like doing the floor pans, I try to be least as invasive as possible, because it's, there's not, sometimes the rust is just surface rust. You can see there was a leak and it came down and it puddled over here, and then the carpet or the matting that was underneath the rubber held the moisture there and it rotted. And that's just the way it is. And then so only replace that if you need. You don't have to make all that work for yourself. Spot welding all that sheet metal in, and I know it's just a floor, but if you start to get the floor or the metal too hot, all of a sudden the floor just goes da-dunk, da-dunk, da-dunk every time you step on it, every time you move, and that's just not necessary. I don't believe you need to chop out the whole floor if the metal's still good. If it's just a little bit of surface rust on it. Now with the laser cleaner, I'm gonna probably laser clean the floor, see what metal's good, what metal's bad, chop out what's bad, weld in the new stuff, call it good. I got to jump back in here and correct myself on part of the video. I'll edit this back into it. I said, the guys are chopping out the whole floor, in the truck, and when I'm saying that, I meant the footwell, because you can buy the patch panels that are just the footwell, and I didn't catch that I was referencing the whole floor. When I said it, it was more, I was, meaning just the footwell. So, I really haven't seen too many guys go to the extent of cutting the whole floor out. I know that you can buy entire patch panels now that are the entire floor. There's one guy on one of the forums that, his truck was, it was, one of those ones where you're like, man, unless that's just really special and it's like I don't know that I would have gone to the extent that he went, but kudos to him for going that far. But I mean, and at least in my area, I can still find cabs that are in better condition and stuff, and I'm not gonna go crazy on saving a cab that's that far gone. The most I've done is my 67, and that one, had I known it was that bad, I probably wouldn't have attempted it. It was one of those things where you're already kind of in it when you find all that stuff. So maybe that's what happened to him. He was already in it, so you're like, yeah, I'm already this far, might as well keep going. But anyways, I didn't want to say something there or misspeak there where I was saying, replacing the whole floor when most guys are just doing the footwells. That's realistically the most of the spots that are bad. You get a spot every once in a while that's along the slope of the door, right inside the door. It's right over the top of the cab cross member support that goes over it, and that can go bad. And then the floor metal, the sheet metal under over the top of that is rotting as well. But for the most part, it seems to be really localized to the cab corners, the footwells, and then you can get sometimes in the door column where the hinges are and stuff like that. That can, there's some nooks and crannies in these trucks where, like most vehicles, where they dirt collects, the water splashes up there all the time, and then the next thing you know, it's full of dirt, it's wet, and it rots out. So just the way it is. But anyways, just wanted to clarify that real quick. Get you back to the video. But anyways, a lot of stuff to do. It's a lot of parts and it's a lot of time, a lot of things to put on this thing, a lot of things to take off this thing and put back on. Uh, cab, it's got to come off if I'm going to do those cab, new cab mounts. Bed's got to come off if I'm going to do the new bed bolts. Dropping the gas tank out, I was like, well, to get to the bed bolts, you got to drop the gas tank out. And if I'm going to drop the gas tank out, then I might as well put in the new gas tank at that time. And it just starts snowballing down the rabbit hole of I'm going to do this and I might as well do that. And so that's kind of where I'm at right now, just trying to make sure I got all the parts ready to go as I get there. Most of the other little things I can get from the auto parts store, fuel line, heater line, little fittings that go into the engine for the heater lines. I still can get those at the auto parts store. But anything and everything else that's very specific to the truck, I tried to make sure I have it and can go from there. So, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope it gave you some more ideas for stuff to do on your truck and stuff. But anyways, I'm gonna wrap this up, and you guys have a good rest of your day.